Here's what's on the menu for today. Oh, and welcome to Delilah's Everyday Soul.
I want to have today. She got on my nerves so bad. When you know, so it's this kind of thing, like the platter I'm going to post later for you that I did yesterday.
Oh, you're going to post it?
No, you're going to post it. Okay? Party time is on. Why did you have to tell me that? When I tell you it was so good, I thought I was going to kill myself.
And welcome in, Wanda. So, of course, my mom is on the way. And so while we are waiting for her to come on down, hey, Muffet, I wanted to first thank everyone for all your orders. So we have been pushing out Jism's rub and sauce. And so now, as well as Maryland's seasonings. And so now we are out of stock on everything. We are finishing up the orders that we still have in the queue, and they'll be finished by this weekend. And then we are waiting for Jism. I forgot to put on chapstick. I'm looking a little dry over here. So we are waiting for Jism to get our next shipment in, which is on its way. And so probably by the end of this week, we will open it back up for sales again. So thank you everyone that has ordered. Thank you for your patience as we get everything out. And just for your support of Jism and Delilah's Everyday Soul and Country Style. So, Mom, are you going to say good morning?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Much love. Because things have been going fantastic.
So, Mom, you know that we're filming both. So, Facebook is live. And then
Facebook and YouTube. Listen, I can't.
It's over here, so you have to talk to them.
I can't keep up with all of it. But I welcome everyone. Facebook and YouTube, Instagram, wherever you may be. I don't know.
Good morning, Angela.
Welcome. Thank you.
Did
you mention how great they've been supporting the products?
I did.
Merlin's, which we're going to use today in my for my fish and grits. And we also have Jism. Sauce and rubs, which is going crazy. They're both going crazy, and the guys are all going crazy. They're like, I never made this much before. I don't know. I can't get bottles, and I'm looking for packaging, and but you're gonna have it. I got you. It's coming. So it's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming. We're working with them, and they're working with us, and it's coming. So today I'm gonna make old and new. So. I kind of wanted to do this fish and grit thing because Jism actually went fishing while he was here, and he gave me a couple of crappies. So I wanted to fry them, which I love fish and grits together, but I wanted to do Delilah. Fish and grits is me, and I enjoy it, but Delilah over here is the quiche, and whenever my friends come for breakfast, usually that is their request. Can you make us quiche? It's something I love to make. It's a simple recipe. It looks like a whole lot is going on, but that's because I prep everything ahead of time for you. And then I'm going to make what I call a little morning salad to go with the quiche, which I'm going to make dressing, and it's just a Dijon vinaigrette with tarragon vinegar and a little honey, fresh strawberries, which I've just sliced, and some hydroponic mixed bib lettuce greens. And I try, whenever I can find the hydroponic greens, I get them because I just think there's a little more attention being given to them as they're growing because usually they're out of a small farm or a small greenhouse. So whenever I do grits, I like stone ground grits. So they are a fresh dried grit. Takes longer to cook them. This is not a 5-minute grit. So you're going to have a lot more nutritions coming out of this grit as opposed to 5-minute cook, 1-minute cook, where it's been stripped down from its natural thickness and coarseness so it cooks quick. And when they do that, like white sugar, white flour, you lose the nutrients. This is my cornmeal flour mix, which you've seen me make in previous videos. So I've already blended that. I'm just going to add the black pepper. I've already added a little bit of Himalayan salt in there. Here is Maryland's, because we're going to pipe that up a little bit because it's fish and grits. You know,
for someone who maybe knew what all is in
flour and cornmeal. So it's half flour to full cornmeal. So if you have a half a cup of flour, you have a full cup of cornmeal. So it's a cornmeal flour mix with salt in it. And I put a little garlic, and I put a little granulated garlic and onion powder. So these are
Good morning, everyone. Welcome in.
Crappies, carpies, people call them different, but it is a bonefish, and I like to leave the bones, and I like to leave the fins, and I like to leave the tail, because when you fry it, it gets crispy and it's great to chew on. So that's that's been washed. It's just sitting there. You know, I skewered it a little bit in the skin, I broke through it. Some people like to put seasoning down into those cuts. I don't tend to do that. My seasoning kind of lays up on the skin. First place, I'm going to put these grits on. And the grits, like rice, is a measurement.
Oh, Mom.
Is a measurement, okay? So, this was my measuring cup that I used to get the grits. Got that? So, this is 3/4 cup. So, whatever your measurement is, it's 1 part solid, which is grits. 4 parts liquid. I don't care if it's water. I don't care if it's stock. I don't care what you use. That's the measurement. 1/4. Okay?
And that's because those are stone ground grits. Or is that?
That's any grit.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay.
That's any grit. Also do milk if you want it a little creamier. These grits tend to come up pretty creamy anyway. I do use butter towards the end, not in the beginning. Similar to rice, you want them to come to a boil. Once they come to a boil, you turn them down to a simmer. Put the top on, stir before you put the top on, and leave them alone. I'm going to put my oil in. I'm not going to fry my fish yet because I kind of want them to go together. I don't want my fish to get cold. If we fry our fish ahead of time, this is plain old canola oil, 100% vegetable oil. Use whatever you like, whatever fits your fancy. It's oil for frying.
For frying.
For frying, okay? It's oil for frying. So I'm going to put that on so that can get going.
So those of you just hopping in, my mom is preparing stone ground grits and then getting the oil ready over here for her fish.
And I'm going to put some black pepper on my fish. I salted my fish prior because I wanted that salt to kind of draw the fish dry. And you want it to be dry, okay? So I'm going to add one other ingredient before frying, and that would be my hot sauce that I'm going to put on that fish before I go into my flour mixture.
And
Cutting in those dry seasonings into my flour cornmeal mix. So it's blended well. Okay. Give it a little taste. It's good. Throw a little Maryland in there.
So talk about why it's important to taste your flour.
Well, you don't want it over salted. That's my biggest reason I taste. You want to know that the seasoning has been blended well, and you put enough seasoning. So the worst thing in the world is frying a piece of fish and it has no flavor. Okay? So you just want to make sure that those seasonings are in there. So I just put a little taste to see what we got going on, if I need to add something else. And as you see, I added a little more Merlins to it because that's going to give it some nice, good flavoring. I'm done with these. They can go away. That will sit there and wait until I am ready to do my fish. Okay, we're going to make a dressing. It's a very light dressing, all right? So it's a Dijon dressing, and I did the Dijon because I think it will be a nice complement to the quiche, because Dijon mustard is a flavor that's in the quiche. That is our mustard. This is our vinegar. So for those of you who tend to not make a salad dressing, the oil gets drizzled at the end, and the oil is 4 times the vinegar. Okay, that's a pretty good rule of thumb that you can go by. Here's a little honey because, again, you had vinegar. So as opposed to sugar, I tend to like to use honey in my dressings, or an agave, something that's a little more nutritional. For those of you, I've never used a stevia, so I'm not going to really say that. And as you see, these things are blending well together, and you have to continue to stir. I want to add a tad of pepper. And I have some here. Okay, not too much. And this, again, you could use white pepper, you could use black pepper, you could use red pepper, knowing that the red pepper and the white pepper are hotter than your black pepper. So you have to be careful with that. I'm going to put a little bit more sweetener, and I think we're good. So as you see, I'm drizzling and stirring, drizzling and stirring, drizzling and stirring, and that's how you get that to mix, blend in, and thicken. So, and this is olive oil. Can you use vegetable oil? Yes. Can you use canola oil? Yes. But I tend to use olive oil with my dressings. I love to fish. Love, love, love. So if anyone's ever talking about, let's go with, I'm like the first one, I'm in. And so you want me to talk about big old fishing story.
Well, how did you get interested in fishing?
Well, because growing up, my father used to take me crabbing all the time. So I used to love to go crabbing and then go out on the water, and I love water. And at one point, my sister and I, we had a boat, and it wasn't the boat for fishing. Even though I would want to fish, and Paula would always say, you are not going fishing off of this boat. This boat is not for fishing. So from growing up and being out on the water and loving the water, and I don't know, I've always loved eating fresh fried fish. You know, when my mother or grandmother would prepare it. So I don't know. I think fishing is very relaxing, like golfing. It's relaxing. It's almost like you're connecting with nature. You know, no one's out there bothering you. So that's why I tend to like, fishing so much. So here we are. We have a dressing. All right. Let's get over here to the quiche-weeshy.
Love quiche. I
Great.
love quiche.
And I've already pre-crusted. So this is, some people use it as a quiche pan. Some say it's a tart pan. You can use both. You can use a pie plate. Today I did this because we got a time thing. So a pie plate is a lot deeper. So it's going to take a little longer to bake. This will cook a little bit faster. And that was the only reason I decided to go with this as opposed to my pie plate. I'm going to saute my shallots. So I'm going to let that get hot.
The crepe pan is back. It always makes an appearance.
Yes, because it's such a
the crepe pan.
Good pan. It's such a good pan. With the quiche, this is a layering situation going on here. Okay.
Oh, lump crab.
Oh yeah. Listen, you want a good product.
So what I love
You
about
know me.
quiche,
You want a good product. So yes, and I got a little bit of that juice in there. I didn't want to do that, but it'll be okay. I only got a little bit.
quiche is good because you can make it. You can make any type.
And you can have it already ahead,
Yeah,
and your
it
guests
lasts.
always love it.
Yes.
They always love it. And it's something people kind of steer away from. I think they're afraid of it.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
And then we put bacon.
And you can put whatever ingredients.
And again, I pre-cooked my bacon in the oven. It's less mess.
Tony. Oh,
So
I see an alert. 50 stars.
Oh, look at y'all.
Oh, so cute.
50 cent. 50 cent. All right.
Cute.
So now we have our parsley.
I'm excited.
So this is the fresh thyme. I use herbs. I use a lot of herbs. And our scallion, because we are doing, we are doing crab meat. So I want everything that's delicate. All right. Let me get rid of that. Get rid of
Now,
this.
there's a question
get rid of
about
this.
the crepe pan. Where is your pan? Where did you get your pan from?
Williams-Sonoma or
Cooking is so good. Even the fire alarm cheers me on.
But it's steel. But it's a great. It is a great pan.
And as you will see, my mom uses it for
Everything.
Everything.
I need to clear up something because last week. Okay, I'm gonna put my heavy cream in. All right, I'm gonna start dumping. I had the one egg. I'm gonna add the rest of my eggs. So last week they saw me go to the sink with oil, and they saw me pour it. I want to clear up something. I did not. So my sink is my dump station. I have stuff in there to catch oil I didn't pour oil down into the sink drain. Do not pour oil in your sink drain, okay? I simply poured it because I'm cleaning, getting out the way, cleaning as I go. So that's, it went into a vessel that was sitting in the sink for my oil.
Oh, yeah. So lots of comments about the crepe pan. Yes, Debbie, you don't have to limit it to just crepes. You can use it for any and everything.
Everything.
And Paula
Everything.
said she got hers from Williams-Sonoma for about $25.
Yeah, it's not an expensive pan. It's one of the few that's not expensive. And here is our nutmeg. It's just a little bit, not a lot. Our red pepper. So this because we want a little bit of flavor. Little bit of pipey going on with this.
Oh, there's a great question,
Dijon
Mom,
mustard, yes.
about brown eggs. So they see
Okay,
that you're
what?
using brown eggs.
Don't get me on
So
eggs.
are they better than an egg and a white shell? Why do you use brown eggs?
Okay,
or even what do you look for when you buy eggs?
So let me say this about the egg situation with me. Me and the egg situation. All right. I get pastured eggs. So it's not even free range. They're pastured. It actually, here are some eggs. These are usually my eggs. But I change around to different farms. Organic is important to me with the egg. Pastured raised is important. That means the chickens just run. Okay? They're free. All right? And small farm.
Hey, Danny.
Those are the kinds of things I'm looking for with eggs. And they happen to be brown. I mean, if they had I've seen them, though, white. Mm-hmm. As long as this is what I'm looking for. Organic, pastured, raised, farm raised, small farm eggs. All right? So, I'm going to start grating directly into my quiche. This is a firmer cheese. And this is over the moon goat.
And so my mom loves to grate her own cheese. She won't.
Yes, I don't buy the cheese already grated. Because I think it dries out. You lose oil. So you see from grating this cheese, look how oily my hands are. Mm-hmm. So if this was already grated, it would start to dry out. I mean, think about it. It's just a little flake, so it's going to dry out on you.
And this is just an old school, regular old
Oh, yeah.
box
I've had this
grater.
thing probably since I was 10.
You can see it's been well loved.
And I still love it, so I don't get rid of it. Right? Right? I'm still in love with it.
Yes. That's
All
looking
right.
good, Mom.
And this one is goat, so we're just gonna, and it's a soft cheese, so we're just gonna crumble that wherever it may land. No biggie. We're not getting, complicated about it.
So this would be just as good with like sauteed vegetables.
Yes.
I've seen you make it with broccoli, spinach.
Spinach is a big fan of
peppers.
mine to put into my quiche. Really.
So if someone was vegan or vegetarian, like you can make this dairy-free. You can make it however. There's really no way to go wrong.
Right. You put into quiche what you like. That's quiche. Are these over the top?
Oh, another good question. So, Mom.
Yes.
Debbie asked, couldn't you grate the cheese in the Ninja Junior?
Oh, you probably could. You probably could. I'm so used to doing everything by hand. That's just me.
Thank you, Bridget.
I'm not the big appliance person. And I'm going to tell you really the real reason why I'm not the big appliance person. I can't stand stuff all over my counter. It's just me. It's only me.
So if you had a lot of cheese to grate, then the Ninja Junior or something would come in handy.
It would come in handy.
I'll tell you, my mom grates when she makes macaroni and cheese that everyone loves her for. It doesn't matter how much she has to make.
I'm standing there grating myself to death.
So, Mom, we were talking about why you liked fishing. So now talk about your big...
My big catch. Yeah. So Wanda and Patrick and I go out on this boat called the Queen Mary. So Wanda and Patrick were going fishing and I couldn't go. For some reason I couldn't go. Work or something, I couldn't go. I was pissed off. I was pissed off. So then the next day I said, well, I'll tell you what. I'm going. I just went with me. I'm like, got in my pickup truck and hit the road. It's the Queen Mary out of Brill, New Jersey, Central New Jersey, and we go up to Brill. We actually go up to Brill. So I get in my pickup truck and I go down Route 70 and I get there and I'm all by me, by myself, going on this boat to go fishing. And they go out in the ocean. So I like to go out in the ocean because you have the potential of catching the big fish, right? So, we're out there all day. We're catching nothing. Like, first you have to catch fish to catch the big fish. You have to catch fish that maybe about this size, maybe like a 12-inch fish, right? Somewhere between 10 12-inch fish in order to catch the big fish. So we're out there, nothing. It started getting dark and they're trawling the water, trying to find where the fish are. I put a little bit more nutmeg because I didn't see it. I want to see some of the nutmeg in the egg mixture. And we're going. Nothing. All of a sudden, we got our lines in. This guy was like, it's on now. And he started pulling. Next thing, the whole boat, everybody's pulling fish. And you got to understand, these fish are 25 and 40-pound fish. The fish I caught that day, 3 stripers, 25, 27, these are pounds, 25, 27, and I think the other one was somewhere in there. The fish, when I held it up, is as long as I am tall, right? When I get to the 3rd fish, they bring it in, I'm like, my back and my arm, and you got to understand, you're pulling this through water and you're fighting and you're pulling it and you're fighting. And I said, I don't think I can do it. And I'm like, I don't think I can do it. And the captain said, Delilah, every time you rest, the fish is going to get away. And I was like, ah! And I was let them show you. Because I am so proud of that day. I caught 3 25 to 27 pound fish in that day. I called Wanda and Patrick. I said, you won't believe it. You won't believe it. You won't believe how many fish I caught today. You won't believe it. And then I told them, and they were like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. So I have these whole fish on the back of this pickup truck. And I'm like, oh my God, where am I gonna put them? They're not gonna get in the refrigerator. I can't clean and cut them up. And they'll clean them for you, you know, to a point, but you still have a whole fish. So I go to this fish market in Haddonfield the next morning. And it's a small little store, but they know me, you know. I said, look, I went fishing yesterday. And he said, well, what did you get? I said, I got three fish between 25 and 27 pounds. I said, I'll cut you a deal. He said, what's that? I said, if you'll clean them for me and fillet them up and break them up for me, I'll give you a whole one. He said, you got a deal.
Yes.
I put the cream cheese into the egg mixture. All right? So quiche is a rich dish. You know, it's not no little flaky dish. It's rich. It's rich. I'll also tell you another little secret. If you have a self-cleaning oven, if you leave your sheet pans in the oven, when you turn it on for self-cleaning, the heat from the oven will bake it all away. So
That is a good tip, though. Because I didn't know that until you said that last week you were talking about cleaning some of your
no
pans.
worries about it.
Yeah, I have to try that.
That's one way of getting it off. Just put them in there when you put the self-cleaning oven on, and it will be all gone.
Yeah, that's how she keeps her pans looking like
it
new.
burns off. Okay? So that's going in. Preheated oven, 375 degrees.
And cooks for how long?
It's going to cook 15, 20 minutes. I hope we're going to be okay.
Because it's basically eggs, right? So
Yeah.
eggs that don't take a long
Eggs
time
and cream.
to
And
cook.
it's not real wet, because that will make it take longer. So you don't want it to be all wet.
So this is not, they're not porgies. What did you call these? I had never heard of them.
Crappies.
Crappies.
Some people
They
say
look similar,
Some
though.
people, yeah, like a porgy or
Yeah, they
a
look
croaker.
similar to a croaker.
Croakers, porgies, not a spot. A
My
spot is
grandmother loved porgies.
you, her, and I.
Love.
It's okay.
So, Mom,
Yes.
I know someone who maybe knew, and they see you just throw that on the counter. They're like, oh, why would she put that on her counter?
Because it's clean
okay,
already.
So now talk about your cleaning process.
Because it's clean already. So prior to me setting up, and anyway, all day long, this is me. I wash, rinse, and sanitize kitchen equipment, stove, counters, utensils, did everything all the time. That's me. I am going to have a clean kitchen because the kitchen is my place that I like, my sanctuary. It's where I spend probably most of my
90% of her
time
time at
in
home.
the kitchen and
Watching Greenleaf.
right, watching Greenleaf. And so Queen Sugar's on now and Greenleaf is off, so I don't have to watch another repeat of Greenleaf. Because in order to watch the repeats of Queen Sugar, they were going to make you pay for it. I said, I'm not paying to watch it over and over again. So Greenleaf is off. Sad. I'm sad about that. Queen Sugar is on. I'm happy about that. Now they have a new show coming on called Delilah. Now, who could imagine what that might be about? I can't wait to see. She got to be drama. She's named Delilah. So I'm waiting to see about Miss Delilah, who is an attorney, single mother, and I heard she's in charge. So I think we have a lot in common. So here we go. Fish. So the people who know me know that I am not one of these, what are those shows? the reality, hip hop America, what's it called? Basketball Wives, somebody whose wife came today. I don't know. I don't like it. I can't stand them. It's like chitter, chatter, chatter, chitter. I said, Delilah, what are you watching? Delilah was watching something the other day about people dead and they burying people. I'm like, what are you watching?
Funeral,
oh my God.
On Netflix.
And all I can hear was, I said, oh, please turn that off.
Hey,
I wasn't, I don't watch that stuff. I can't, it's not even entertaining to me. I'd rather watch Julia Childs cooking on TV and she goes down on her elbow, or
Mom.
Gordon Ramsay or somebody.
So let me bring you back for a minute.
Yeah, I can't do it. So, our fish.
The internet. Okay, so people are asking about your pans. So one, why would you choose to
Look
use?
at that.
Looks good. This type of pan over a Dutch oven.
For what?
Shallow fry pan for the fish.
For the fish, it's only 2 little pieces of fish.
Yeah, you don't need a lot of oil.
Yeah, it's only 2 little pieces of fish.
You just really want enough oil to at least cover it like a little more than halfway.
Because you're going to turn it. It's only 2 pieces of fish. If I was like deep frying a whole lot of fish, then I would take out my big cast iron pot and fill it with oil because I'm cooking constantly. But this is just a couple pieces of fish.
And then there's a question about the types of pans that you use. So talk again about brand
pans,
or what you look for in a pan.
Pans are an investment. Everything in the kitchen basically to me is an investment. Okay, you buy good, you keep it, you don't lend it out, you don't loan it out, you take care of it, and you'll have it for life. Mm-hmm. You'll have it, the pan will still be good, and you're gone, and you can pass it down.
Truth.
So
I have my grandmother's pots.
You have to me, you buy good. You always buy good, but you don't lend it out. No one's going to take care of it the way you are going to take care of it. About metal pans is that the handles get hot. Okay? So understand that. The handles get hot. This is not, my hands have been tempered to a lot of heat.
She doesn't feel heat.
I do feel heat, but not like you would feel heat unless you constantly are cooking all the time. So you can't just be grabbing them. Yes. Like you can't just grab this pan. This pan gonna be hot. I'm telling you right now. So you guys, I pulled my cloth out to go fan my little fire alarm over there, the smoke detector. But I keep towels, not wet. You don't touch a hot pan with a wet towel; it goes right through. Mm-hmm. But I keep cloth towels around all the time so that I can use this. I'm not a big, and some people, there's silicone rubber that you can put on your pots and pans, but I'm a towel girl. I love towels. I use them when people are eating, and you see it's all ripped up. I still am not getting rid of it because it's still useful. I give it to people when I serve them to eat. I use them when I eat. I'm not a paper girl, so. That's just me.
Okay, so how do you know when the fish is done?
That fish is done. So if this were in a lot of oil, it would float. It would float. But fish is tender and it doesn't take a lot of cooking and a lot of heat. So,
yes, very tasty.
In honor of Jism from Country Star, here's the fish that he brought me from when he went fishing. Because when he told me he was going fishing, I said, listen, you better bring me a fish back or you're in big trouble with me. So he did. He was a man of his word. And so, you see, we were cooking our grits and I did not want, I told you I was putting butter in at the end, correct? And here we go.
Yes, it looks very good. This is what I'm having for breakfast today.
See our grits?
So we just put like salt in our grits. I know that there are people who like sugar.
Oh yeah, I don't do the sweet thing. I'm gonna tell you right now. So someone told me about
a preference.
Sloppy grits or somebody grits.
Never heard of that.
They put cream of mushroom soup in them.
Oh, in the grits?
In the grits.
No, never.
Or
heard
they
of
said cream of chicken soup in it.
No, I've never
No,
heard of that.
I don't do that either.
Have you all heard of that? Do you all do that?
They call them sloppy grits or something. I was like, because they said, well, how are you cooking your grits? I was having a conversation with them and telling them what I was making. And they said, well, you're going to make I think he said sloppy grits. I said sloppy grits. I never even heard of that. So I'm putting the top back on.
We're more on the savory side.
And,
we don't do the sweet.
yeah, I'm not a big sweet person.
So no, there's a question about saving the oil from
the fish oil, you have to mark it. So yes, you can save it. That oil really can be reused. You want to strain it, so you don't want the excess flour and cornmeal that you see laying in the bottom. Now, if we were cooking like a meat, that's the essence we do want, because that's how we make gravy. But with fish, you want to strain that. You can reuse that oil, definitely, but
Absolutely,
you need to mark it. Fish oil.
Don't mix it.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, I am going to dress my salad greens, and this is why I left them in the refrigerator till the very minute I needed to take them out, because
so hydroponic, fresh,
they're so tender. They're so tender.
And because they're so tender, when you dress them, you have to do it like lightly.
Very lightly, very lightly. That's probably good right there. Didn't take much.
So that's the dressing that my mom made earlier. With what all did you put in it? Dijon mustard.
Dijon mustard, vinegar, tarragon vinegar, salt, pepper.
No color.
Salt, pepper, and mustard oil, mustard vinegar oil, honey, salt, pepper. Okay? So they're dressed. That's all. That's it. So I did these separate. And actually,
thank you, Bridget.
you can let the strawberries kind of sit in there a little bit and absorb some of that flavor. But I did them separate only because I did not want them, they're heavy compared to the lettuce. All right, so I'm going to let them just sit down in there a little bit. I'm going to just drop that on the top. I'm going to put a little cracked pepper, and I'm done with that. Anyway, I did a stone ground grit, and we did crappies, carpies or crappies. They pronounce it differently in different areas, but it is, fish you get out of a lake or a stream. And we fried that in a cornmeal flour mix. It has salt, pepper, and Merlin's seasoning. Yeah, getting over to my plates, I have a hydroponic green leaf lettuce salad with strawberries. And I call something like this a morning salad. Sometimes I use blueberries. Sometimes I put a little pecan or little nut with it. It's just a simple salad that's a complement to the quiche. All right, the quiche is a crab meat bacon quiche. Quiche main components are heavy cream, Dijon mustard, nutmeg for me, and cayenne pepper. Everything else is what you want to put in it.
So what does the nutmeg do? Because I normally would think about
nutmeg
as
is like
sweet.
a great little balance, I think, to quiche. I think it's a balance for the mustard, and it's a balance because really salt, pepper, and nutmeg are the only seasonings. I put a little cayenne pepper in it just to give it some depth. Just to give it depth. Not something that you have to use. You can or can't, it's up to you. But everything else, scallions, thyme, parsley, those are things you want to add. You can add any herb you want to add in it. You can add any meat, chicken, beef, pork. You can put anything, sausage, bacon, anything in a quiche. Anything. That's what quiche is. It's like a one-dish meal served for breakfast, for brunch, for lunch, for dinner. Quiches across the board, anytime. Hors d'oeuvres. You can take quiche and make it in take little tiny muffin tins, line them with your crust, and put your filling in each one. They're great. Pop in your mouth hors d'oeuvre. Don't have to worry about no cutting this and that. Make them individual. Serve them up. Whatever you want to put in them.
Looks so good, so good. Okay, yeah, we're ready now. Thank you all for hanging in there with us, even though we're over our time today, but my mom did a lot of different things. She knew how excited I was about some breakfast foods.
That looks exceptional.
That's looking really good.
If I have to say so myself. That looks exceptional.
That looks really good. So once again, that was, tell them what you put in it.
I put shallots, shallots, parsley, thyme, scallion, over the moon, goat cheese, shreve, which is very soft goat cheese, vegan cream cheese, salt, pepper, Dijon mustard.
And don't forget the bacon.
Nutmeg, bacon, crab meat.
There you go.
And I use a back fin lump crab meat because, again, I'm about product. You
all saw it. So it sounds like a lot, but you saw her make it. And so it wasn't difficult to make it all.
It's not difficult. Heavy cream. It's not difficult because you layer everything in that you want to put in it. And then you make your egg, plus eggs, your egg and milk mixture with the seasonings and the mustard. And you pour that over. And then, like, for me, I wanted the shallots on top. So then I layered the shallots and the cheese on there. And that's it. That's it. So.
My mom's letting it rest a little bit.
Yes, we need to let it rest. So I'm not going to cut this. You're going to see when it's cut, it's going to be on that plate. This needs to cool down and rest. So you don't take it out the oven and go digging in it. Just like a pie, a piece of meat, a roast. You let food rest when it comes out of the oven. It gives it time to blend and those things to bind together without the heat, and then you cut it, okay? And then you get a nice clean cut. Another suggestion I would give you is prior to cutting it, to run your knife under hot water. It will give you a cleaner cut. Quiche is something that's served at room temperature. It doesn't have to be served like steaming hot. It's something served at room temperature. So with this pan, there's the base of it lifts out.
Like a cheesecake pan.
Yes. So I will, when it cools down, lift it up. So if you wanted to have this for display as a whole piece, you can lift that out and they'll see all of the ridges of the crust around it. Okay? And it's just going to show that. It's not going to show the pan that's underneath of it. Mm-hmm. So see, this goes inside. Okay? And so you can take, so when that cools off, I can take that off. This is going to hold the base and you can just sit it on a pie plate or whatever. And this goes away. So that now you just see just this. You won't see any of the metal around the sides. And it looks great. Like it's a great presentation. Just great. So that's a good one, you know. So that too is the beauty of this, using this pan as opposed to a pie plate. Pie plate, it has to stay in there. Mm-hmm. Has to stay in, that's what it is. Mm-hmm. All right, so remember, plan. What am I going to make? Shop. Go and get what you need after reviewing what is already in the pantry and refrigerator. Prep so that you're not killing yourself and wearing yourself out when you have to cook for family, friends, or even yourself. So when you sit down with that glass of wine, you can enjoy it because you're not worn out. And enjoy. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope you got some good tips and lessons
They said
today.
very informative.
Thank you. Thank you. Bon appetit.
Bon appetit. Thank you for joining us, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Yep, right there. Go ahead and subscribe and be sure to tell a friend. See you next time.